He has had 3 or 4 14-year MGP Rise and barrel proof here at my house that I shared with him.
I said recently.
It was last week, dude.
No, that was when we had those. That was like last year.
Hello, and welcome everyone to episode 129 of the Mashup, the best bourbon conversation you're going to hear all week long. We're your hosts, Anthony, Kenny, and Steven. Hello, Kenny.
What's up, gentlemen?
Not much. Hello, Anthony.
Hi, I'm highly disturbed tonight.
Why?
Well, I had a situation today that was...
Kenny, situation alert.
I'm listening. I'm all ears.
This was like a situation of all situations. So, I'm trying to watch my weight a tiny bit. Okay, when I say watch my weight...
So one Dairy Queen a day?
What? One Dairy Queen... No, less going to the cafeteria that I've so talked about my loathing that I still eat at the place where I work.
The esteemed university.
Yeah, the esteemed local university, the cafeteria. So when I go there, I tend to overeat. So today I was trying to make a healthier choice. And so I was like, I'm going to walk my large butt over to the student center and I'm going to go get me a coffee and just a breakfast sandwich. And this was at like noon, So I'm like, have you ever done that before where you think like somehow in your mind that's healthier than what you were going to do, which is go eat like copious amounts of food that's not good for you, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So everything's normal. Order my coffee, order my sandwich. And then the way this works is you walk down to the end of the counter because it's set up inside of a bookstore. So there's this massive counter and you got to walk all the way to the end to receive your goods when it's ready. Coffee comes right up. They're like, hey, I always say Tony because sometimes people get confused with Anthony. So they're like, coffee for Tony. I'm like, yep. Go get my coffee. And then the person who's working on the sandwiches, I hate when they do this. Instead of coming to the end of the counter and announcing the names on the sandwiches,
just lay them there.
They didn't even just lay them there. Like, I got a bagel, I got this one, and I got the sausage and cheese, and then lays them down.
Okay.
And so I'm like, sausage and cheese, that's me. I see other people grabbing their bags. I start to walk over there because I was pretty far away. And this girl comes approaching from the side, and I'm like, oh, maybe she got a sausage and cheese too. She doesn't say anything. She just puts her hand right on top of the bag, the Starbucks, and starts like feeling around. She's like caressing the top of the bag. Yeah. And so I'm like...
So there was a layer of bag protecting it though, right?
There's the bag. You know how the Starbucks sandwiches come in the bag. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so now she's got her hand on top of the bag. And I'm like, what is she doing? So then she starts to pick it up. And I'm like, okay, I can see my name now is written on that bag. And I'm like, oh God, please don't take my sandwich. I don't want to chase her down to get it back or have to ask for another one. So she sets it back down. And I'm looking at her now and she touches it again. So now she's touching it a second time, right? Oh, God. And so I look and I'm like, I'm about ready to say something. And so she finally realizes, she sees my name on it and she's like, sets it down. Or no, it stops touching it, right? And so I go over and I pick it up and I just said, are you okay? And I couldn't tell if she was embarrassed or not. She kind of just looked at me and then just walked away. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, at least she hit on the other side. So she was waiting for a sandwich. But I was highly disturbed that my sandwich was fondled.
Right.
Who fondles?
If you don't know it's yours, you don't do that. You just go kind of slightly pick up the edge of the corner to look at the name.
What was she feeling for?
I don't know.
An edge of a sandwich?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, like Starbucks has different types of breads. So maybe like she didn't see the name and thought like she could feel what the sandwich was. That's the only explanation.
Easier to look at a label?
Gotcha.
Like one of these college students rolling out of bed at noon, like, I'm going to go over to the student center and touch somebody's sandwich. So I know that's not a bourbon thing, but, it made me want to drink some bourbon thinking about it now. I'm like, man, that was kind of traumatic,
I had a little bit different food experience that was really good.
Oh, okay. All right. We like
Have
food.
you ever been to...
He went to a Starbucks dressed as a woman. And he started feeling around back.
I knew it was you, Kenny, the whole time. Steven's brilliant.
Gotcha.
All right.
Have you ever been to Bardstown Bourbon Company?
We went there for the Blue Run Draft.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. They actually have some of the best food around. It was amazing.
Actually, we did have some of their food, and it was good.
It was good, yeah.
So I had their fried chicken just the other day.
At Bardstown?
Yes.
Okay.
So I got invited to do some barrel picks there with some guys out of New York.
Oh, this is what you were talking about the other day. We were all jealous of you, and you had three barrel. You had your physical,
picks in one day.
And Steven had his physical day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
we'll get to that in a minute.
That's the third story. Anthony got a story. I got a story. Steven's got a good
there you
story.
go. Yeah.
No, yes, we went down there, did a barrel pick, and then after the barrel pick, we all had lunch. Every appetizer we had, the fried chicken, everything was just out of this world amazing. So I think I like the food better than their bourbon, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
I mean,
high compliments for the bourbon over Bardstown.
Really good food.
Just really good food because they got good bourbon over there.
No, it actually was good bourbon. It is good bourbon too, and they're doing some big things. Like they're actually huge. Their actual growth. When we're doing the tour, the guy was talking and they are just killing it. And they are building rick house after rick house after rick house.
That's what we saw when we were there. Everything looked new concrete everywhere, and the rick houses were as far as you could see.
Yeah, they are contract distilling for so many different places to where they're making money hand over fist just doing the contract distilling. So that allows them to have play money to do their own. They're able to do a lot more trial and error and try different mashes and different yeasts and try this and try that and whatever else. I mean, it allows them to play around more because they're playing with house money. Basically, they're making all the money.
That's right.
Contract distilling.
Just like feeling around for a sandwich.
But that was good. And then headed up the road back to Lexington.
Okay.
You ever been to Wilderness Trail?
No, I've never been there. No.
A gentleman named Macaulay was their single barrel program director. And when Campari bought Wilderness Trail, he left. And he is actually a new startup, him and this gentleman named David, a new bourbon whiskey label called Dark Arts.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned them, and we had a whole fun time talking about
Dark
their
Farts.
Dark Farts. Yeah. Steven said it was a Wiccan experience or something like that.
We went
something
there.
like that.
No, it was cool, man. It was really cool experience. It is here in Lexington, just off of like Leestown Road area.
Okay.
And they have 3 of their core products. One is an Ambarana, and it's similar to RD1s where they finish it with the Ambarana staves. It's not finished in the barrel. They actually stave finish it.
Okay.
And then they have a bourbon finish in French oak, I believe.
Okay.
And the one that I thought was really unique.
Chernobyl finish. I'm just kidding. That was terrible. I don't know why I was thinking of like graphite, but anyway, go ahead.
They call that the lantern bottle.
Oh my gosh, you're glowing.
Lantern finish.
No, just dark arts. I don't know. I'm thinking about weird stuff. Go ahead.
And then the one that I liked a lot, it was really unique. 51% corn.
Okay.
39%, I think it was malted rye, and 10% rye. So it's a 51-49.
Okay.
My old Louisville picks was a 51-49, but my 49 is malted barley. Theirs is 49 rye. So it was actually very good. That's their core products. And then they have a lot of 9, 10, some 11-year barrels from MGP that they'll use for a single barrel pick program as well.
Ooh, delicious.
So if anybody, listeners are involved in any kind of groups that do picks, or you got some stores doing some picks, they ought to look up Dark Arts. Contact Macaulay over there and see about getting set up. It was a lot. We tried maybe 8 barrels.
Oh, nice.
And only maybe 2 weren't great, and the other 6 were actually all very good. So
where is this going to be available? Is this somewhere I can go buy it, or is it a pick group that you did it for?
Well, we did this for a pick group for the single barrel picks.
Okay.
But their core products are still very good, and they're like $89.
And they're available in Lexington?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
I've definitely seen them at Justin's House of Bourbon.
Okay.
But I think it's there's like 6-year-old, and it's $89 for their 3 different core products.
Not bad.
So, and then I think you're around $150, $160 for their 10-year single barrel picks, but that'll be with a group potentially, I guess.
Okay.
Or a liquor store could probably do a pick as well.
Is it their own juice, or they have contracted out?
They are MGP sourced primarily. They might have, I don't know, they might venture out to get some other stuff as well. But so that's the whole thing. So we asked Macaulay how the Dark Arts thing, and there's a lot of stuff in there about alchemy in there.
Okay.
So basically he's like, yes, we're a quote unquote distillery, but we don't distill.
Oh.
So what they're really doing more of is the blending, tasting. When's this barrel ready? Does it need longer? Should we finish it in this? So it's the whole alchemy side of it's what the whole Dark Arts type label stuff is.
I like that. That's like Walter White.
And they're not full of crap. Think about how many distilleries are like, hey, we're a distillery, and they have some story about their great grandparent, distilled moonshine on this farm doing something, and now they come out with this when it's really all sourced stuff. They're like, no, it's sourced.
Right.
But MGP makes some incredible bourbon, incredible whiskey, incredible rye. So nothing wrong with that,
Nice. When you say Dark Arts, it makes me think of the Netflix series Dark Tourist. You ever seen it?
I've not.
It's pretty good. It came out several years ago.
Dark what?
Tourist.
Okay.
Like guy who goes around the world and just weird things that he sees. And
oh, nice.
It's pretty cool.
Similar to Tiger King?
Better. Okay. Yeah.
If he goes around the world and sees weird things, maybe he's gone around the world and seen unidentified female touching a Starbucks sandwich.
Where's Waldo, basically?
I just won't let it go.
I'm writing that down, actually, because I need something new to watch.
There you go.
Dark Tourist. Yeah, and then when we got finished up, there, also in the same building, is Rare Character.
Oh, they're sharing a building.
Is that kind of like a ghost kitchen?
Rare Character was there first. Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. So they have two separate areas, I believe, where they do like most of their aging per se, but they do share bottling lines. So, I mean, it's smart, you know. You get, you know, that way you're cutting down money.
Yep.
Each person saves. So I got to thieve some out of the barrel there with Chad.
Okay.
Oh, was that fun?
Oh, it was. It's always a good time, man. If you're thieving, it's always a good time to thieve from a barrel. It just seems to taste better that way.
If I show up at Rare Character and I just say, "Hey, I know Kenny, can I try some stuff?" Will they let me in?
Well, see, Chad was a manager at Total Wine. And he knows how you are and who you are.
But
I don't know.
Just show him your keys. You'll be fine.
But you didn't know that I was a backdoor manager, and I actually Chad used to work for me.
See, finally admitted it.
Admitted it here.
Y'all heard
You
it
heard
here.
it here tonight. So if I went over there, you think he'd let me, or you think he'd hold that Total Wine thing against me?
No, dude, he's cool. Yeah, just tell him. You don't have to tell him you know me. Just tell him, you know.
All right, Steven, we're going tomorrow. I'll call off sick in the morning. We're going to take a trip over there, and we're gonna see Chad and thieve some barrels.
All right, sir.
Yeah, and by thieve, I mean we're not even going to stick the little dinghy in there and then actually thieve the whiskey. We're just going to roll them right out the back door.
That's what a backdoor manager would do, right?
That's right. Like Jim Morrison.
So, fellas, this week for a review, we go to our friends on Facebook.
That's right. You know, you can find us in multiple places. And so this was actually a Facebook review from Dalton Smith. And he said, honest reviews by local experts. We've got the...
Who?
We're local experts now. He said, highly recommend. And it was short and sweet, but he gave a 5-star rating. And that was awfully nice of him. Do we know? I don't know Dalton Smith. Do you know Dalton Smith?
I don't know.
I know Dalton.
Oh, okay. Here we go. It's an inside job. I'm just kidding. No.
Yeah, I know Dalton, man. He's a cool dude. I've met him 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
Ohio guy.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. And, he and I messaged a little bit, and he did start listening to the pod and enjoys it. So
that's awesome.
He really does.
If he's an Ohio guy and me with my Ohio lineage, my brother from Ohio, so it's nice to have you listening.
OWA, man.
OWA, man.
Yeah. I'm just going store to store. More Red Label, please.
It's wild how much of that they get, though.
I know.
And if you'd like a shout out, just leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And next time we record, we'll give you a shout out. So, fellas, speaking of MGP, this week's bottle is a bottle of Old Ezra 7-year straight rye whiskey.
Oh, yeah. So this Ezra straight rye whiskey comes to us from Lux Row. Lux Row was recently purchased by MGP, or now known as Ross and Squibb. The bottle date is 2023. The ABV on this is 57%. The proof is 114. The age is stated at 7 years. It's a blend of 2 mash bills. So 51% rye mash and a 95.5 rye. And the MSRP on this is $79.99.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I could have swore, though, any store I've seen it was 99. So.
Well, actually, here's the thing. So they state the MSRP at $79.99, and I have seen it at an ABC store in North Carolina. I'll tell that story here in a moment. But in Lexington, all the Ezra products that are the 7-year age stated or above, so that's like your Rebel products, Rebel Yell, the premium age, barrel strength Ezras, they're all north of $100. So I don't know what's going on if there's a Kentucky thing or whatever, but yes, this bottle in Kentucky I think is $99.99.
First thing about the bottle, that was a hell of a pop.
It was.
It was a beautiful sound.
It has a nice synthetic cork in it with a wood topper, and it sounded nice. I can't even. Ooh, nice! It is nice. That's good. That's very good.
Now, although it is true that this does come from Lux Row,
yes,
this exact bottle actually comes from Julius.
Oh, it does.
Yes,
very nice.
When Julius came over to sip one night, he brought that and gave it as a gift.
Oh, that's
a great guy.
That's a really nice gift.
Well, I think probably felt bad for me because I spent like $800 in sushi at his restaurant. So he's like, how can I pay him back for $800 of the sushi?
Kenny's bill was $400, so we'll give him a Lux Row, an older Ezra. Next.
Do not go eat sushi there when you're a little bit tipsy. You will rack a bill up.
If you go over the $1,000 marks, he could bring you a Pappy's?
No. Probably in the Japanese whiskey also. And I was really appreciative of that. Because I've never had this one, and I've had the Old Ezra 7 bourbons. Have you all experienced those?
I've had an Old Ezra 7.
Yeah. It was full of flavor, don't get me wrong, but it was, in my opinion, kind of hot to be hot. It was a 114 proof that drank more like a 125, if that makes any sense. But that was also, I'm assuming that was Heaven Hill Juice. That's who they used to get all their stuff from.
Yep.
So I'm curious to see what this MGP one tastes like.
Yeah, so real quickly on the Mark with the Bourbon, the first time I got a bottle of Old Ezra 7-year-old bourbon at cask strength, I remember it very vividly. I went to a Kroger, I saw it sitting there, and I picked it up and looked and it said, 7-year-old 117 proof bourbon for $44.
It was probably 44 back then.
It was $44.99, and I was like, $45, boom, bought it. I actually liked it. It was a little hot, like you said.
But it was flavorful.
But I remember thinking,
Very
like,
flavorful.
man, this is going to be a go-to bottle. And then the next time I saw it, it was $60. And the time after that, I saw it was $70. And now, when you see it, it's $100 or 110.
Yeah, I think it's 109.
110, 109.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the old Granddad 114. That was like 30. And now it's kind of slowly climbed.
Yeah, it is
Not
climbing
as
up
fast
there.
as this.
Those are not age stated, I don't think.
Yeah, they aren't
So-
age stated, but they were like, what, $25? Now they're up to $30, $35.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll keep checking the price
It's
out.
probably going to be allocated soon.
Yeah, pretty soon, I'm sure. But I don't know. Beam, they have a good thing. Beam always puts a lot of product out when they do things. So gentlemen, do you know much about the Old Ezra brand?
No, just early in my bourbon journey, I remember, I don't know if that was just came out or was popular back then, and I remember trying an Old Ezra 7.
Okay.
I have some amazing Old Ezra sitting behind me.
So the Old Ezra that you have sitting behind you, that is got to be, what years are those? Do you know what year they
I've
are?
got some 80s.
Okay.
I think maybe even possibly a late 70 and definitely some 80s stuff, early 90s maybe.
Okay.
But
So-
I think some of mine's Heaven Hill sourced, and then some of mine I've been told, I thought it was like Medley or something else. I don't know.
Right. So that's what's interesting about this is the first thing I have to tell you guys is Old Ezra. So I assumed when I saw Ezra Brooks, that's the brand that we're mostly familiar with. I was looking for a person. Now, this is something I learned when I did a podcast / YouTube episode with Arsenic Culture. We actually opened an Old Ezra decanter on that episode, and I paid attention and listened to some of the knowledge that they were kicking in that episode. It's crazy, but Old Ezra is not actually a person. There's no Ezra Brooks in history. It was a made-up person in the 1920s or something to basically sell a whiskey brand, 20s or 30s or something like that.
Now, I have Ezra Brooks
Right,
from the mid-70s
right.
in
And that-
ceramic decanters.
Right.
But Old Ezra, I still have some of the ones that say Old Ezra, like rare sipping whiskey, whatever. That's
Right.
80s, 90s.
Yep. And so real quickly to kind of go through this in a flash, what happened was this brand was created because at the time Jack Daniels was very popular and they couldn't keep up the demand of Jack Daniels. So this company saw an opportunity. I think it was called like 21 Brands or something like that. And so they put together this whiskey that's this brand and they're kind of selling it. And then they actually start distilling it in like the 1950s. Frank Silverman was the guy who's credited with creating the brand. And then it gets bottled by the Hoffman Distilling Company in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, basically from the 50s all the way up through the 70s. And do you know who the Hoffman Distilling Company was owned by? The Rippey Brothers. And so Lawrenceburg means, Rippey Brothers means what? Means, I think, Turkey-ish, right? Over by Turkey, somewhere over there?
Yeah, I mean, well, Wild Turkey they have the WB Saffel, the Old Rippey or Ripey, whatever it is,
Right.
and that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so somehow or another those lineages cross, and then by the 1970s it's out of business, and then it gets purchased by Medley. That's what you're talking about, that you might have some Medley juice.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah, it got purchased by Medley, and then it was made by Medley up until it was purchased by Glenmore, then transferred over to United, then over to Heaven Hill,
Okay.
and then it made its way over to Luxco, who bought it in I think 93-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was purchased
So it was
by
Medley,
Luxco.
though?
So it was Medley
Perfect.
at some
Okay,
point.
'cause
It had
I've
a little bit
got-
of Heaven Hill.
Because I've got a couple of my bottles, they were way more expensive.
Okay.
But because the UPC was supposed to be like, I guess, a Medley UPC.
Oh, there you go.
Versus my other one at Pre-Fire Heaven Hill UPC. Right.
Okay.
Okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah. And what's funny is I think when we drank that decanter, it was a Laurel and Hardy decanter. It was so cool that they had me on to do that because it was actually really good, tasty, dusty juice. But you know why they were using those decanters, right? Just to sell the whiskey because
The original Tater bottle.
yeah. Yeah, they couldn't.
Or Tater sticker.
The
I'm
old
sorry.
man tater bottle, right?
Right. They had to have them because they weren't selling any whiskey, and that was a way for them to sell whiskey by using the collectibles. So it's a little incomplete history there. Half of Arsenic Culture when I was on with them, and then I followed up a little bit and read a little bit on Bourbon Beach. Really good resource if you ever are looking for whiskey history. So got to give him a shout out.
Sweet. I do have a favor to ask.
Sure.
So I did not know until I saw your notes and you read it.
Okay.
That this is a blend of their 51% rye and 95.5.
Right.
But I do have right in front of me a Traverse City Whiskey Company.
Oh, from Michigan, right?
Straight rye.
Okay.
Now this one is called Boat Ride. Michael Parker, local guy, gifted me this bottle.
Okay.
But this is a 7-year-old, 117 proof from Legacy Group. Ryan Lay, Chicago guy. But this is 7-year, 117. This other one's 7-year, 114. I'd like for you to pour me this.
Oh, we're blinding
Blinds,
you?
if that's all right.
Yeah, we could do that.
I do
for
that?
you. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Which glass is clean? That one? You could hand to me? Mm-hmm. Okay. I've got it.
All right. Sweet. Thank you.
All right. So
Awesome.
Kenny's officially blind on this, and
Gents, let's nose.
And as per the usual, we have one glass each, and Kenny has two. So have fun over there, Kenny. There's some ethanol on the nose. There's some rich caramel.
Rich.
Like
Nice and sweet caramel.
sweet caramel, which is actually one of the things I look
It's actually
for
divine caramel.
in a rye.
It is really
I like the nose on
Tasty.
both of mine. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good because this nose is good.
this is really nice nose.
Little vanilla, nice spice too. Like you know how sometimes you get spice and it's like draws you up. It's a little like a verse on the nose. The spices are they're smelling nice. It's like a nice simmering potpourri spice a little bit. A little floral. Got some oak. Yeah, nice here. Caramel, oak, florals. Liking where I'm at right now. So as we're swirling and nosing here, I think that MGP rye is something that I really liked even more than bourbon when I started tasting MGP products. Does that make sense to you guys?
They
Or
have-
at least to Kenny.
No, they have killer ryes. Yes.
So I was late to the MGP train. Like when I first started getting serious about bourbon, I was like, oh, I gotta get serious about bourbon. I wasn't even drinking rye. I wasn't even thinking about rye. And then when I first tasted it, I'm trying to remember what rye first set me off into that journey. But it was like when I first tasted a good MGP rye, it was only like 5 or 6 years old. And I really enjoyed it, even more so than like the big guys and their rye offerings and stuff like that. So I'm actually really excited to taste this because I don't remember having a well-aged MGP rye recently. Like,
What would you consider a well-aged rye? Because it ages faster than bourbon, so.
I think anything over six. But
I
I
was
think
thinking
when you
that too.
get into like the 12 to 15 year range with MGP,
I'm shunning him, Steven.
Why are you shunning him?
He has had 3 or 4 14-year MGP ryes
Here.
at barrel proof here at my house that
And
I
he's like,
shared with him.
I've never had it.
I said recently.
It was last week, dude.
No, that was no. When we had those, that was like last year. That was last year when we tried those. Come on,
I'm
I
messing
remember.
with you.
No, I remember. That's what I was saying. You guys.
Getting worked up.
I have 2 of those bottles.
No. So here's the thing for me. When I say the other day,
Yeah.
it can be last week to about 2.5, 3 years ago.
Okay. All right.
So my recently and your recently are
like a-
totally different.
That's not like a
I
kid.
gotcha.
Oh, it is.
It's like yesterday,
Oh,
and it was like 4 weeks ago.
I promise you. When I say the other day, it could be up to about 2 years for real.
Well, I know
So-
that one time when I did get to try some well-aged stuff that I was just talking about, it was here.
Yeah.
It was probably about a year ago, and I have had the opportunity to try some other stuff. But I always jealous of those guys, those Willet guys that have the 18 to 25-year-old ryes, the gold top. I think they're gold top ones. Those aren't even anything I'll probably ever get to see or drink. And
It's like those
I
old
have never.
Rittenhouse ryes and all that 21-year, 23-year,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
And that, you got to ask yourself, why was there 22-year-old rye sitting around? Because I think distillers didn't know what to
Forgot.
do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with it. They're like, yeah, can't
A
release
lot of
this.
the old school, they don't like rye.
Yeah, they don't like rye. So they're like,
Jimmy
oh,
Russell,
whatever.
you don't like rye.
So, like, why'd they make it in the first place?
I don't know.
It was like an
Oh, yeah.
experiment.
Might
They
have
didn't like
been
it. They
a-
just
Might have been a surplus
Sat on it.
of grain. I don't know.
Who knows?
No idea.
Love to know more about that. I guess maybe it was just popular at one point in time. So
I wonder
they
what
brought it
I wonder what the angel share on those barrels were.
back. Yeah. Here you go. Cast strength, 22-year-old bourbon.
6 bottles.
Open the barrel. Yeah, 6. Hey, some of those King Kentuckys do have like 6 bottles that get out of a whole entire barrel, which I don't even know how those are drinkable, but
Well, gentlemen, let's go for our first taste.
all right.
I'm tasting.
He tasted. Kenny got ahead of it. Oh, man. Oh. So, those of you might recall, if you paid attention to anything I've said about rye, the ryes that I like less are the ones that are more vegetably, that are more garden-like, that show a little bit more of the grain profile of the rye. I like it when they start to hit a certain age and turn a corner. And this one, for me, has started to turn a corner. There's a little bit of the finish that's a little bit off, but the front palate is like vanilla, caramel, maybe a little tobacco, brown sugar. the spice characteristics sort of match with the flavors, so there's not like a mismatch there. I don't get any pepper. I don't really like peppery finishes. This is not a peppery finish to me.
It's got some spice on it though, like a pepper.
What is the spice? Is it pepper?
Yeah.
Let me see again. I just said I don't like peppery finishes, but you're saying it's peppery?
I don't know. I felt like it was pepper.
I think I know which one's which. And I don't really pick up pepper on it. I just get more of a nummingness, like a baking spice numbing, not a pepper. Because it's 114 proof still. That's proofy.
Maybe it's white pepper, the elusive white pepper.
White pepper though affects in your throat, right?
Right.
Not. It's a little bit more. It's like after.
Right.
Right.
I don't get like a strong. I can tell usually when I get a strong peppery finish. This is a different kind of a spice. Hey, it's Italian spices. That's what it is, Stephen. It's Italian spices. You should have seen his face. He's looking at me on a side eye. I got side eye on that one. I love it. I'm just kidding, man. I'm just messing with you.
This is delicious.
Well, you don't know which one's which.
I know which one's which.
You know which one's which? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and here's the thing. I actually might be totally wrong. The reason I think I know is one of these tastes definitely like a 95.5.
Okay.
And if I had not known ahead of time that it was a blend of 51 rye and 95 mash bill, then I would not know which one's which. But I believe I do know which one's which based on that.
Okay.
But both of these are great. So kudos to both of these.
Yeah. I'm liking what I'm tasting here. I mean, so far, I don't know if I could pick up how it stacks up against other MGP ryes. Another one that comes to mind is Smooth Ambler. Sourced a lot of good MGP rye. Even at younger ages, I've had some 4 and 5 year old Smooth Ambler rye that was really good. So this does have, I will criticize a little bit. The finish, like Steven was saying, I don't know if it's pepper. I still haven't quite picked it out. It's some kind of something that's a slight bit astringent bitter on the back end.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. When something finishes like that, and you're kind of going, well, I want to be left with those sugary, like the nice sugary notes, the
and you're not. You're left
the
with
richness.
You're left slight burn.
A little bit of the spiciness is a little bit. It draws you up a little bit. So I think I've got it. You guys have had black licorice, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a sweet black licorice, and then there's a black licorice that has like a more rich, dank black licorice taste to it, right? I don't know how to describe what that is.
I think you just did.
The non-sweet black licorice, that finish is kind of where I'm at. I think it's a coriander seed spice. I think that's really what is getting me here. So that sort of, it's like a whole seed spice that is characteristic of black licorice, and I think that's coriander.
Well, let me go ahead and guess these real quick so I can join the rest of y'all's conversation.
I don't like black licorice, so I don't have any of that.
You don't like black licorice?
No.
You don't get that at all?
No.
Okay. Well, I don't know what your finish is then. You got to tell me what it is.
I'm going to say that this glass is the Traverse City, and this is the Old Ezra.
You are 100% right, Kenny.
Okay.
The blind king is still in check over here.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a blend of 51, but no, this is caramel, bro. It's caramel. It's sweet. This is delicious.
Yeah, it's
very
nice.
good.
It's got nice flavors.
Now that I've verified which one's which, I'm going to pour more.
Thank you, Julius.
Well, here's the thing, and I was too dumb to look on the back of the label to see that it was Indiana.
Yeah,
because the bourbon I've had, the Old Ezra 7, flavorful, yes, but just hot to be hot, not something I want to pick up and enjoy.
I think I remember that.
This is a different animal. Wow.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting a little bit bothered here because
You should be real bothered when you told me the other day.
Yeah. So here's what happened when I was on vacation this past year, because Kenny knows how much I love vacation.
You can't say you were on vacation. I can say I was on vacation. Steve can say he was on vacation. Which one of your 16 vacations, so we know where to pinpoint and track this at? Go ahead.
So this is my annual North Carolina
When he was remote.
family vacation. Yes, when I was remote. No. I go down to the ABC stores in the little sleepy beach town area there, and they have this on the shelf for, I believe, I don't know what the MSRP, but I believe it was under $80. I think it was $70.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And they had it deep on the shelf, and I remember looking at it. I picked it up and I looked at it, and I thought, 7-year-old MGP rye has to be good. But because I have a lot of bourbon, I just kind of thought, you know what? I don't really need to take a flyer on it. I should have just bought a damn bottle and opened it at the beach, and then I would have went back and cleared the shelf. I would have cleared the shelf.
Got to be that 51% rye blended into there.
Yeah.
Because that 51% rye, where it's that lower rye, probably has more bourbon-esque qualities. I mean, I enjoy 95.5s, but this is man, this caramel on this and the sweetness on this.
Yeah.
I mean, almost sweet horror.
Smooth out a little bit of the pininess that you get in a 95.5.
Yeah. So, well-aged rye. The older it gets, it turns back into more of like bourbon-esque type flavors.
Right.
Especially like, here's the thing, I've never had an older age 95.5 rye. Most all the old ryes are probably 51%, 56% type stuff.
Okay. I wouldn't know.
So now the oldest ones you had, those were 95.5 MGP ryes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
What is that Willet that I had
from that
at your
Maryland
house?
series?
The Willet was, I think it was a 95.5.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was an older age. That's their own product, though. They distill some 95.5 at Willet. Yeah.
You guys want to try something on air real quick? You got a clean glass?
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna pull some out the drawers here.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So, a little older aged rye here.
I mean, this smells bourbony.
It is. So this is
bourbony.
a Kentucky rye. So this will be
That narrows the field down.
51 to 56% rye mash.
So
I'm
this is
assuming.
not the stuff that George Washington was drinking back when Michter's was making it.
Oh boy. So this actually knows this right here, Stephen, real quick. So that is the 95.5 MGP rye. So that's the one I had blind. Is that one? So that's more of that dill pickle, that kind of pump. Okay,
Right.
And then that old Ezra we had was the blend of 51 and 95 together.
Right.
Well, this is just 51 to 56 only. So that's why it's more bourbon-esque. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice. The nose is really nice.
But this should be, this is amazing. If any of our listeners have had Booker's Rye, this actually rivals Booker's Rye.
Are you serious?
It's not Booker's
Well,
Rye,
that's-
don't get me wrong.
Well, that's one of my tops. So,
Yeah, this actually rivals it in my opinion.
what is your top rye as we're talking about it? Don't you say it. Don't you say Van Winkle rye.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. My top rye would be Alves got me, I was at his house. It was the Rittenhouse 23 or Rittenhouse 25, one of the two. Just old school 23, 25-year-old rye, just off the charts.
Okay. Well, I actually am going to say my top 3 ryes are something maybe that we just tasted here. That's damn good. I just took a sip.
I'm telling you,
Ooh,
this is
good.
Booker's Rye caliber, bro. Seriously.
That's good. And the finish keeps going. I can barely talk, but
Last time I timed this, it was a 60-second finish for me.
I mean, it's still going, and I'm trying to talk
Yeah.
here, and I'm still.
It's still going.
So top 3 for me is probably 2 things. Actually, I think I've tasted them all here. I don't think I own a bottle of any of them. I really like Wild Turkey Christmas Rye. So if you guys are taking tabs and you want to get together with my wife and also get me a gift,
I've done that before.
I'd like the Christmas Rye if my wife's willing to spend money on me and you guys can facilitate that. That was
I've had that, right?
No, that was the only time I ever
you
had
explain it to me.
I explained it to
Yeah.
you. That to me, and maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it was just a night, but I loved that. I thought it was one of the best ryes I ever tasted. I don't know what year it was. Nothing, Kenny, you might remember. Then I think Booker's Rye is
It was
probably
an 88.
But 88, okay. Number 2 for me is probably Booker's Rye, and this is rivaling that. And then number 3 is probably the Van Winkle Rye.
Yeah.
That I tried.
Now, is it my 2010 or Alves'
Yeah.
2015?
I can't remember which
Because
one
I'm
it was.
bored, even though the 2010 is that 19-year-old medley cream of Kentucky.
Right.
I'm borderline thinking I like his 2015. That's a blend of that and some Buffalo Trace together, maybe better.
Which one was it? The bottle share.
Oh, that
Yeah.
was the 2010. Yeah.
Okay,
That was my 2010.
That was the one.
It's
that
fire.
I tried.
And
it was very good.
it's more bourbon-y.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't even sipped this one yet. Have you all both had it? Mm-hmm. The one I poured, I'm going to try it.
What'd
real
you
quick.
think of it?
It's good. It's that little heat, not too much. The nosing's really good.
Oh yeah, it smells like a nice, like I'm in a warehouse, like having a time.
Around this one, it's that 45-second to 60-second finish. It really is. And it's not the same finish. Like, you're not tasting the same thing the whole time. It's literally changing
Yeah.
in your top of your mouth, your tongue, in the back of your throat, and everywhere. It really does. It changes.
It's tasty.
Love it.
So what is it?
It is a Kentucky sourced rye, 15-year-old, 130 proof.
Oh wow, it's 130 proof.
Wow, doesn't drink
Does
like
not taste
Does
like
not drink like it. Nope. So that's why I had you nose the one that I blinded. So that's a 95.5.
That almost had like a cleaner nose, a cleaner.
And then the one that you tried earlier was the old Ezra. That's
Right.
the blend of the 51 and the 95. And this is just all 51 to 56. So doesn't have that 95 punch to it.
It's very good.
Wow, it really mellows out the proof.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really
So
good.
good. So,
Gents,
Yes, sir.
would you pass, try, or buy on the Old Ezra 7-year straight rye whiskey?
I'm going to yield on this one because I have some nuanced thoughts.
okay.
Okay. I guess I'll go first.
Go first. Sir.
All right.
I was on the fence early on if I'd be a pass or a try.
Based on the nose or the palate?
More so the palate.
Okay.
Nosing I really liked. But I think I might have moved to a buy on it. It kind of impressed me second pour.
Okay.
And kind of grew to enjoy the palate on it.
All right.
So it was a little warm, a little hot, but I mean, I enjoyed the flavors of it. So, and the nosing was awesome. That has a buy for me.
All right.
Yeah. I'm a buy as well. I did not think I would like it, but that was not knowing it was MGP sourced totally. Now, when I saw the back of the label, I'm like, oh, now I'm interested.
Yeah.
Once I tasted it, that is delicious. They did a great job with picking the right amount of 51% rye mash and 95% rye mash on that. To me, this is a good rye. This is a good segue for a bourbon person. So someone is not as familiar with ryes. They don't love ryes. They've not been on a rye kick. Because that 51% rye that's in there, this to me is a good segue because this is
Gives you familiar notes, but gives you
got
something
the
new.
caramel, the brown sugar,
Right.
the sweetness like you get in actually traditional bourbons, but with some of that rye kick. So I'm 100% a buy even at Kentucky prices. So I'd be a buy at the 99 that's been around, not just the $79 that you passed on.
That's interesting because that's where I was going to go with it. I was going to say, are we going to buy this at $99 versus the $80? And honestly, when you think about it, carrying a 7-year age statement, knowing that it might have older bourbon in it, older rye in it,
Yeah.
it's, I think I'm going to make it a clean sweep here. Like, I'm actually really kicking myself that I walked past this.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at a bargain price comparatively. And I'm going to go a step further here. So I've tasted Blood Oath, which is the ultra premium Lux Co. Now, granted, that's a different finish every year that comes in a wooden box, and they got a whole bunch of stuff going on. I've tasted Rebel Yell, which is a premium weeded release that's sourced from Heaven Hill. I've tasted a regular bourbon. I think I actually like this the best out of what I've tasted. Now, I've tasted later Blood Oath. I've not tasted the early stuff.
This is the best thing I've tasted that's from them.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say. So that's what makes it a buy for me, because if you're going to buy something from them, like once the Ezra got up in price, the old Ezra bourbon, the 7-year, I was like, okay, I like this, but I liked it better when it was $60. Now, like, okay, this is tasting a lot of ryes lately, and some that are very underwhelming that have good heritage, but are probably sourced in younger stuff.
Yeah.
This is nice. This is really nice.
If this was a 7-year 95.5, I would probably be a try,
Right.
maybe a pass, because I don't think it would have this flavor on this.
Yep. And I like the little dancing it did with the spice. I might have used all different descriptors of spice, which probably led people, but I mean that's a good thing there, because normally I'm not getting that much crazy play on a rye.
And I don't know if there's how many Lexington listeners we have, but my boy Julius, he hooked us up with this bottle. So definitely, if anybody's in here around here, let me know and I'll get you a sample of this for free.
There you go.
It was gifted to me for free, so share the love, pass it on. But I would still recommend buying a bottle because it is that good. But definitely hook you up with a sample if you want it.
I have promised some samples out to some of our listeners, so I think this one's going to be one of them.
Yeah, seriously, 100%, man.
Yeah. So the last thing I want to say is if you go down to get some sushi from Julius, I'm pretty sure he'll guard his bar better than my Starbucks sandwich was guarded earlier. I'm sure that you'll get your stuff served tableside without someone touching it and caressing it. So gotta end where we began, guys. Like I'm still thinking about that dang the touching, caressing of my sandwich.
I assume you ate it all.
Oh hell yeah, I ate it all. I mean, why wouldn't I?
I was making sure you didn't get grossed out and threw it away.
No.
And with that, thanks for listening to this week's edition. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at TheMashupKY.
Don't forget to visit our partner, BourbonOutfitter.com. Enter code TheMashup for a special discount.
Also, let us know your thoughts on this bottle in the comment section. Until next time, keep it neat.